In this presentation, we'll be discussing the important issue of bias in the justice system. This conversation specifically will be discussing religious-based bias, social and political influences that lead to these biases, and how religious-based bias is institutionalized in the justice system. Now, as humans, we all have biases. There isn't really any way around that. They're based on our previous experiences and our fundamental beliefs about how we see the world around us. Simply put, if you've ever been raised to believe something or have been exposed to certain ideas, you'll have biases for or against them. Unfortunately, putting on a badge or a robe doesn't eliminate biases that you have. If you're a misogynistic jerk-off duty, chances are you'll still be one while serving. And because there are few protections against judges who are biased, you're really at the luck of the draw when it comes to your sentencing if you're convicted. In the justice system, there are some ways in which we try to reduce bias as best we can. Through the process of jury selection, we try to get as best of a random sample of the population as we can without sitting jurors who have obvious biases. For instance, if there were an African American man on trial for murder, and one of those jurors is a Southern white male and is a member of the Ku Klux Klan, they would hopefully be dismissed as not being impartial, and be placed back into the pool of potential jurors until they are called to serve again. But there is controversy regarding jury selection in the first place. Those who engage in the jury selection process feel compelled to replace jurors to bring about outcomes that are more favorable to them in trial. Through mock trials, jurors can be asked what evidence or questions could be raised that would have swayed their decision one way or another. So unfortunately, if you're on the wrong side of jury selection, you might still experience bias against you. There are instances where finding a diverse, impartial jury can be difficult. According to the American Religious Identification Survey taken in 2008, 76% of Americans identify as being Christian. Inherently, there isn't really anything wrong with this. However, if there's an atheist or someone who doesn't affiliate with any religion, there can be an immediate bias against this person. When placed under oath, all persons who are actively participating in the trial are expected to place their hand on the Bible and are asked, "Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?" To which each person responds, "I do." Non-affiliates aren't required to place their hand on the Bible, a secular alternative being that you can be affirmed on the Constitution instead. However, when this is done in front of a jury, it creates problems. Jurors might wonder, why does this person have to be sworn in differently? It creates immediate attention towards the non-affiliated in question, and usually that attention is good. If the atheist doesn't want to bring attention to their lack of faith, decides instead to swear on the Bible, is that not an act of perjury itself? So while you can choose to affirm on the Constitution rather than be sworn in on the Bible, it has the disadvantage of singling yourself out to a jury or judge. In the United States, atheists are often demonized by religious culture, whether it's from believers, pastors, or national talk show hosts. According to a study by the University of Minnesota, atheists are statistically both the most hated and mistrusted minority in the United States. They're viewed as evil, sinful people who aren't deserving of mercy or care, and should be actively avoided because they'll try to deconvert believers into their atheist agenda. Very scary stuff. This link is a panel discussion on Fox News about a group of atheists working to remove "under God" from the Pledge of Allegiance. At 54 seconds, Dana starts by stating, "I'm tired of atheists," and cites her work at the Justice Department to ultimately say that representatives don't want to change the pledge, and that if atheists didn't like it, they should go live somewhere else. At 2:28, another woman on the panel interrupts. "Why should they be catered to? What makes them so special? I find it offensive that these children are used as pawns for their parents' political statements and beliefs. It's selfish, small-minded, and courts shouldn't cater to them. I see no reason why they should do so." Now, putting the irony of her statement aside, the people on Fox News are nationally broadcasted and influence a lot of people. They represent the religious right of the country and presented as experts who consistently reinforce people's ideas that atheists are the world's public enemy. The love it or leave it attitude presented in this panel discussion characterizes the privilege that Christians have in this regard that no other religious group has in the United States. Because of this perception that atheists are evil and should be trusted less than convicted rapists, atheists are at an extreme disadvantage and are even pointed out in trial through affirming over swearing in on a Bible. In this short presentation, I've shown you how religious-based biases persist and spread, how they can sway judgment, and how there's an instance of institutionalized bias against non-believers. So I hope that you'll spread awareness of this issue, and if you can't be bothered to do that, well then at least I've spread it to you.